Hey there everyone and welcome back to the Jak and Daxter Marathon. We last left off with Jak and Daxter the Precursor Legacy. A solid 3D platformer that did really well for Naughty Dog. It sold over 1 million copies and eventually it was graced by that good old, really ugly greatest hits banner. Does anybody even like that thing? Anyway, a sequel was bound to be made, but really, what were they gonna do? All the original game had going for it aside from solid platforming mechanics was a load time free open world and Daxter. So do they just make another one? That game released in 2001, and in 2002 the world was treated to Ratchet & Clank, Sly Cooper, Ty the Tasmanian Tiger, Vex, and Super Mario Sunshine. We were pretty much okay when it came to platformers. We did also get Spyro Enter the Dragonfly, but we don't talk about that one. So what does Naughty Dog ultimately do? Change fucking everything, that's what. Just look at the box art. Daxter's name isn't in the title, Jak is rocking a goatee. There are these two brand new characters that look a lot edgier than anything the first game gave us, and there's something else about the box art that's sticking out. What? Oh, that's right! Jak is holding a goddamn gun! You know how Conker's Bad Fur Day started off kind of generic and sort of cutesy before becoming this game where you literally fight a giant monster made out of poo? Yeah, I'm sort of getting that same vibe here. You think you're ready? Think again. You will finally know Jak. Oh, I will I? Well, we'll see what I will and will not know now, won't we? Or is it will we? Wait. You know, playing this game over the years has been quite the emotional roller coaster, so this should be quite the ride. Alright, enough of the BS, let's finally pop this in. Let's go! The first Jak and Daxter had a secret ending which unveiled some sort of special unknown thing behind a giant gate. And in the start of Jak 2, we find out that it's actually a giant portal that they somehow brought back to Samus's hut with the intention of driving through it with this vehicle that Kira created. Alright. Okay, let's just see what happens once we open up the portal. Oh my god! Oh damn it you guys, look what you did now, you opened up the pits of hell. Only one thing to do at a time like this.
Use the boost to get through!
The entire crew now gets trapped in a big time vortex before splitting up in the process. Jak and Daxter eventually land in the gritty Haven City before being confronted by some guards. Daxter runs away to star in his own game, and Jak gets taken away. A whole 2 years pass, and Jak is now the subject of dark eco experiments by Baron Praxis, the leader who rules the city with an iron fist, trying to fight a war against these things called the Metalheads. Once Daxter finishes up his little adventure, he finally joins back up with the now goatee-wearing Jak and...
I'm gonna kill Praxis!
Now hold on a second! Well, holy shit. Okay, Jak can talk now and he's incredibly angry. Not a good combination. Oh hey, he can also now turn dark at a moment's notice too. Sounds perfectly safe to me, I don't know. After escaping the prison with some good old-fashioned platforming and guards who couldn't shoot anyone to save their lives, you run into this old man and kid about to be attacked by some guards. You turn into Dark Jak to take care of their pests, and the old man core starts you off on your adventure. And from here on out, Jak sets off to get the Baron and Metalheads where he wants them by aligning himself with just a ton of new faces. There's the underground leader Torn, the Wastelander Sig, good old tons of fun here crew who, by the way, has amazingly trim legs given, you know, the rest of them. There's the Baron's daughter Ashlyn who has really sweet facial tattoos. And of course I can't forget about the adorable Tess, who, she's really nice. There really isn't much in the way of character development, but everything that Jak does feels like it's part of a bigger picture, which makes for a pretty engaging and really intricate story. That kid from earlier turns out to be a young Jak, so there's time travel with both the past and future. There's a jealousy love triangle with Jak, Kira, and Ashlyn. The wise and powerful Onin makes Jak press random floating PlayStation buttons for reasons that are clearly beyond my understanding. And throughout the entire adventure, there is romantic tension between Daxter and Tess for even more reasons that are beyond my understanding.
You're such an animal.
It's really weird. Now let's do a bit of a comparison here. The original Jak and Daxter can be sort of compared to Banjo-Tooie in style. Jak 2? Grand Theft Auto. What? Let's start with what's similar to the original game now, shall we? For one, Jak has his entire moveset back, from the rolling long jumps to the thrust punches. And yeah, that sort of covers it. Vehicles are back as well, and you'll be using them a ton, but you actually get your hands on them by mostly hijacking them from random people just floating around at a snail's pace. In fact, the first thing that you'll most likely do after saving the old man core here is proceed to steal someone's vehicle. Man, That Jak has turned into such a renegade. Do you get it? It's because in Europe the game is called Jak 2 Renegade. It's a joke. Ah. And when I say you'll be using the vehicles a lot, I am not kidding. The game is structured as such. The radar will constantly have symbols on it that lead you to a new mission, most of the time leading you to 5 or so locations. You watch a cutscene where the person in question tells Jak how to progress in his duties while Daxter does whatever the fuck he wants. You then take a new vehicle and make your way over to the new symbol, usually run over a few guards along the way to make things a bit more exciting. You go ahead with the mission at hand and you rinse and repeat until the game is complete. Oh hey, that kinda rhymed. And sure, you'll be platforming every once in a while, but you'll mostly be playing with Jak's new arsenal of guns. You can also trigger Dark Jak by collecting Dark Eco and go crazy on enemies that way, but guns? Adding gun gameplay to a series where the previous game didn't have any whatsoever? Boy, that doesn't sound like the worst possible idea in the slightest. In all seriousness, the gunplay actually fits in just fine. Well, kinda. There's the red one that goes whoosh, the yellow one that goes ping, the blue one that also pings but really fast, and the purple one that shoots an electrical ball of destruction. Delicious. You get these guns along with ammo upgrades throughout the entire game, and it is satisfying to kill enemies and collect metalhead eggs to power up Dark Jak, but there is a bit of a problem here. The game throws a lot of enemies at you, and you have no invincibility frames after you get hit. Isn't that one of the cardinal gaming rules that you're not supposed to break? To remedy this, however, the game basically makes it mandatory that you almost always jump, spin, and shoot the yellow gun, throwing your shots in all directions. Whether or not they actually hit the enemies, though, is sometimes left up to chance. You could try and use different methods of attacking to get out of a tough spot, but ultimately, if you don't have enough juice to go dark, you're gonna end up using that one method over and 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 over. Sure, it makes things easier and you're bound to have a favorite gun anyway, and that yellow one is probably going to be the one, but if you have this toolbox of abilities and only one of them is used for the tough situations, that's bad. Now in all fairness, that is a minor nitpick. The way that the gameplay is set up, I actually think it's better than Jak 1. But there are some problems. For one, driving in Haven City takes up such a long chunk of the adventure. In the 8 or so hours that it takes to complete the game, about 2 or 3 of those hours consist of driving in a city with nothing to do and a lot of sharp turns, which also means that despite having like 5 different options for vehicles, the only one worth using is the really small one because it controls the best. The only thing you can do in Haven City aside from travel to new symbols is go for precursor orb challenges. Rather than being a standard collectible like in the first game, these are randomly spread out throughout the entire world, with a big chunk of them being found in Haven City challenges, like finding them based on an image or flying through rings. And really, that would be fine, but finding them throughout the actual levels is such an annoying and tedious process because they're hidden in the most obscure places, and about 100 of them are like this. Why even bother collecting some if you know you're not going to go for all of them? When I completed the game, I had over 60 orbs. There's a total of 286. Screw you, that's bad! Alright, fine, that is another nitpick, I will admit, because that's all side stuff, but there is one thing, one major thing, that annoys me to no end. Jak 2's plot is cut up into thirds, with a fight with the Baron being what separates each one. And the first 2 of those are perfectly fine. You get to discover and work with all of these brand new characters and do missions that test your platforming, your skill with guns, you get used to Haven City, you get to live out Jak's dream of being Tony Hawk, and you also join a racing league for a tournament. It's a good time all around. You even get to finally control Daxter at one point in a classic Crash Bandicoot style chase sequence. There is the occasional mission that's really annoying because you'll be playing for 10 minutes, die, oftentimes from something that you didn't see, and discover that Naughty Dog clearly forgot what checkpoints are and throws you right back to the start of the mission. But that is nothing compared to the final third, which is just, I don't know why, I really do not know why, but almost every mission in this final third is just completely painful. The race where you play as Daxter is the most annoying out of all of the races, and you're bound to crash at least once, if not 10 times, defending Samos from a handful of enemies that oftentimes you just can't aim onto, having to escort 3 idiots who can't maintain their own safety unless you accidentally hit them, to which they then have no problem pulling their gun out in a moment's notice. And then there's the Titan Suit Mech, which is completely shoehorned in and easily the worst thing in the game. It's slow, it's cumbersome, and for one of those missions they throw you underwater surrounded by mines that you can barely avoid. That's bad! But now, it's time to take out the metalhead leader, who we actually find out is the Old Man Core, who is now gracing us with his presence in this lovely glitched cutscene. I know that's a pretty big spoiler, but quite frankly, it's pretty obvious really early on that this dude is up to no good. And now, time for the final confrontation between it and Baron Praxis. Attack! Can't help but feel like you probably could have come up with a better strategy. That's fine, leave it to an angry teenager and his furry friends to really get the job done. And luckily, the boss fight is actually shockingly easy. I know, I didn't see that one coming either. You destroy the metalhead leader, send young Jak and young Samos back to the past, which makes a whole lot more sense when you're actually playing the game. Daxter takes over the local bar, Jak and Kira get the night of a kiss once again, and the whole gang celebrates with pretty fireworks, ending Jak 2. Well, the whole gang except for Crew, you blew him up. You know, for years I just had these bad memories of Jak 2 as it's just awful, incomplete, and just pain in the ass game. And while the final third does suck, Jak 2 is actually a really fun game. The new gunplay is implemented pretty well, Haven City and all of the new faces within it are a lot more engaging and memorable than anything in Jak 1, and the game as a whole just looks miles better than the last one. Just compare the two, the character models in the first game do not look good at all. It really shows you how big of a difference having 2 years between games can make. There's still not much in the way of memorable music, but hey, at least Daxter is still as amazing as he always is.
2 Samos the Sages? Ah, Jak, they're multiplying!
And yeah, looking back, I guess comparing this to Grand Theft Auto is a bit of a stretch. At the very least, I'm pretty sure that journalists weren't being paid to give this game good reviews. Oh, snap! So at the end of the day, Jak 2 is actually a really good game. I think I may actually like it more than the first game now. I totally surprised myself there, but now is where things get a bit more interesting. Next time on the Jak and Daxter Marathon, we're going to be talking about both Jak 3 and Jak X, and it'll be my first time playing Jak X 2. It's a 2-for-1 special, really getting in the holiday spirit now. Now I'm going to do what I can to play through both of these games as fast as I possibly can, but luckily a brand new game just came out that I got to talk about first, so we're going to take a short break from the marathon, but don't worry, I'm sure you guys will find this detour to be quite smashing. What? What do you mean I've already used that pun before? It's what... We're going to talk about Smash Brothers next.
Yeah, whatever. Bye-bye.
Hey everyone, I want to thank you all for watching and I hope you enjoyed it. If you want to keep up to date with video progress and just see what random stuff comes out of my online mouth, like me on Facebook, follow me on Twitter, and be sure to subscribe to get my videos as soon as they go up. December just began and it's looking like it's going to be quite the filled month for me, so stay tuned. You're going to be seeing a lot of stuff from me. Well, hopefully. You can never really tell with me. But alright, I got 2 games to play through now, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. You all take care.